Fradique, who is an electronic engineer and has a master in instrumentation, technology, and quality, and who's working at INIAV for almost 5 years on security and quality office, dealing with quality management system. And he performs also internal audits to INIAV laboratories, and has also some training on ISO norms. And he's also coordinating and technical auditor of IPAC, the Portuguese Institute for Accreditation and for Accreditation of Laboratories. And he will give us his experience at INIAV.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation to participate in this workshop. As you could see, I'm not an expert in these fields. I will just present some data from our colleagues. Well, the problem is we've been discussing is what happens when we don't have a proficiency test available. So we present you 3 examples, which are practical examples at INIAV, in which this really happened. So, first example is about the Lewis spider mite. This mite has some symptoms in the plants, which are chlorosis and bronzing of the leaves and of the fruits, and this happens in especially with higher mite densities. This mite is probably originated from Central America, and it affects a lot of important, economically important productions like fruits, citrus, and vegetables, and well, a lot of important economically production of fruits and vegetables, and it is also considered a quarantine pest according to Annex 2 of the directive. So in Europe, this mite appears in Madeira, which is there. Okay. Yeah. It's a Portuguese island, a bit to the south in the Atlantic Ocean, and also we have some occurrences in Algarve, to the south of Portugal. So this mite can be identified by morphological methods, and according to PN 7068, for several years we received samples from our NPPO, which is the GAV, from 2017, and mites were mounted and identified, and all samples were negative. But in 2019, 2020, we had a positive identification by morphological methods. So we didn't have a PT available for this mite, so we contacted an independent specialist. In this case, it was an expert from France, and he confirmed our positive identification by morphological. We sent the slides with the species mounted, and he confirmed the positive identification of this mite. Furthermore, we did some molecular analysis on this mite at INIAV, and it was possible to also confirm positive ID of the Levisi mite. Well, this even gave an article published in a peer-reviewed journal for the identification of this mite and the molecular analysis of the same mite. Well, this in subsequent years, positive and negative samples have been sent for molecular analysis, and with 100% cases of good identification and confirmation with morphological classification. So this was a good test. Another example, a little bit trickier, was a new scale insect pest from Plant Health Services, which we received also from Algarve, from the south of Portugal, over there, several places, and this pest attacks olive trees, and it was not a known pest, so it was, well, not identified. We had a morphological identification of adult females with descriptions and keys, validated methods. We also asked some independent specialists from Catania, University of Catania. We collaborated also in Portugal with a professor from Agronomy Institute in Portugal, and we further sent the specimens to this specialist in Italy and confirmed positive identification for, well, corticosa, okay. This was, there was an important aspect because there were no sequences available to genetic identification. So to confirm positive of this pest permitted us to generate sequences for DNA barcoding. So it was important because after that we could use molecular analysis to identify this pest. But there were no identification of this pest in databases previously. So we also published an article in a peer-reviewed journal about this identification of this pest. Another example, a little different, is we have this structure at INIAV with several laboratories for several areas, essentially for morphological analysis. And we have two laboratories which do the part of molecular analysis. So we had an example in 2022 where we did the same sample passing through both of these laboratories in molecular analysis. So we did without the knowledge of the technicians, so blind samples were sent to the Laboratory of Biochemistry and Laboratory of GMO, both of them doing molecular analysis. And these samples of pupae were sent to the two labs without knowledge, so it is a kind of intra-laboratory comparison, but we try to keep it confidential, so that no results were known from one part to the other. And the result was good. Both laboratories did confirm the identification of Chromatomia horticula, which was the pest which encased. And so we we thought it was a good example of intra-laboratory comparison. There was no other comparison available to follow. So this, well, this is a simple a simple case. Three simple examples of what can be done. I don't know. It's just practical examples that INIAV, which we would like to share with you. And thank you very much.
Are there any questions?
Can I just make, I'll just make one comment.
Yes, please.
I've got a loud voice, it's fine, I'll project. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was only going to say that it's really reassuring that the approach that you're using is really similar to us.
Yes.
And that, which is great.
Thank you. I think it's sometimes we don't really have an alternative, and we try to do some internal work to validate our methods, but it's obviously limited, but it's better than nothing, I think.
On which basis do you select the experts that you will ask to do the identification?
Sorry?
On which basis do you select the experts that will make the identification?
The external experts. Well, they were selected because they were supposedly experts in these specific areas. I can't tell you anymore, but maybe Eugenia would help a bit with that.
I had a complementary question. Is it easy to find these experts? Do you always know where to find them?
Well, it's not easy. The contacts are made by personal knowledge. So we speak with some people that know other people, and then we get the experts. And for example, for the case of the melanastis corticosa, that we still don't know which state we'll get in the future because it's an emerging scale insect that was originated from South Africa. And it came to control in ornamental plants, so someone just took it by, because it's nice or something like this, and then we have a problem on olive trees, so we still don't know how we'll be impacted in the future with the spread of this pest. We have really troubles to find someone, and we contacted the people in the university because we were pretty sure that it was not an asbestos by morphology, but we had to really be sure about it, and there were no sequences available also on the NCBI or elsewhere. So we contacted people in the university that knew someone in Italy, and then we sent the specimens there. And when we wanted to do again this exercise, the lady in Italy was retired. And it was a really funny story because then she said, I'm retired and I don't want to do anything else anymore. So then we had to find another person, but of course her group had experts and she also recommended someone from her group. But it can happen that sometimes we contact a person that sometime later retires and then we have to find someone else. So it's always based on personal contacts that we know by someone that knows someone else.
I see, Françoise.
I was just thinking, I see a number of people here who are part of the Nordic laboratory network, and I was wondering if this type of approaches are also followed, and if you could just contribute a little bit maybe not now, but also this afternoon, on the experience you have with your network.
On-site testing.
Yes, or how you are also contributing, because I think this is also interesting, the approach you're having. So the Nordic is a the Baltic countries, plus Denmark, plus Norway and Sweden.
Poland.
And Poland, okay, no, I didn't know about Poland.
Yeah, this is
This is recent, okay. So there is this group, and if you also have this type of activities that can be related to policy, it would also be good that you explain again in the small groups. So if you are spreading the small groups, please take the opportunity to explain what you do in your group. Okay?
Thank you.